So this is the first time I've said this, and for those hotel workers and people that get tips, you're going to be very happy, because when I get to office, we are going to not charge taxes on tips, people making tips. We're not going to do it, and we're going to do that right away, first thing in office, because it's been a point of contention for years and years and years, and you do a great job of service, you take care of people, and I think it's going to be something that really is deserved. More importantly, popular or unpopular. I do some unpopular things, too, if it's right for the country. I do what's right. But so those people that have jobs in restaurants, whatever the job may be, a tipping job, we're not going after for taxes anymore. This will be ended. And I announced that for the first time I've brought it up. First time anyone's brought it up. I think it's never been brought up before, and I also think it's very appropriate. $1 billion for 5 people. It's unbelievable. We will make the Trump tax cuts permanent and cut taxes even more for working families and small businesses. You know, it's interesting. We cut taxes, the biggest tax cuts in history, bigger than Reagan. Because Reagan had big taxes, we had bigger than Reagan. So the rates were cut way down, for business down to 21% from, including state and city and everything. Many companies are paying much more than 50. So they were cut way down, 21%. In fact, I'd like to bring them down further for the middle class, bring them down even more. They're going to let them expire. They're going to give you the biggest tax increase you've ever had, ever, by 4 times. But the amazing thing is we cut the rates way down, and we took in more money than we ever took out before. So with a lower rate, the incentive was so great. People were doing things, businesses were thriving. So with a much lower rate, we took in more revenue than we ever took in before. It's an amazing number, right? Who would think? As part of those tax cuts, I have announced that I will eliminate taxes on tips for restaurant workers and hospitality workers and anyone else relying on tips. No more taxes on tips. No taxes on tips. None. None. In fact, on your receipt, when you get your receipt for a restaurant, you know who sent me one? Kid Rock. How good is Kid Rock? This nigga was and he wrote on the receipt, vote for Trump, and you won't pay taxes on tips. He wrote that on the receipt. I said, that's very smart. That's very smart. Smart guy. So for restaurant workers, for hotel workers, for caddies, for car people, it's a lot, but anybody receiving tips, there's no more tax on tips, and I think that's going to be a great thing. You know, they earned it. A lot of people don't get tips. You don't like the service, you don't give them anything, right? You don't like the service, but somebody does a good job, they're supposed to pay tax on it. No, so we're ending that immediately, effective immediately when we get it. And as we rescue our economy, we'll also seal the border and...
One of the concrete proposals that President Trump has talked about is exempting tipped wages from taxation. Is there any thought of trying to pass that in this House? If it's such a good idea, why not do it now?
It's a great idea. I don't know if we'd have the votes in the Senate, that's for certain. I expect all the Republicans would be in favor of it. We're going to be working on a very aggressive first 100 days agenda, as you've heard me speak about before, and lots of the Trump ideas will be included in that. I can tell you that his proposal about taxes on tips has been very favorably received across the country. I've been traveling nonstop. I was in 5 different states last week alone, over 6 days, doing just scores of events everywhere, and that's something people are talking about. I think he's tapped into something there. I was a former waiter. Many of us waited tables. I'm sure you're all former bartenders and waiters, and you know what that would mean to us. I mean, I was one of those, Boy Scouts who, actually reported what I've made. So I didn't make much doing that, but it would be a great boost to people who are trying to make a living that way. And I think they receive it that way. It's a great idea, and one we're talking about. We'll pass it as soon as we can. Yep.
What do you think of this?
The lower you get it, that's a big, big spur for the economy.
Hey, Mr. President, it's Wesley Hunt here. How you doing, sir?
Hi, Wesley.
I got a question for you. You've been talking a lot about no tax on tips. If you could kind of talk about that and what impact that would have, not just on the black community, but on everyone. I think it's a winner for all of us, and it's your idea. So if you could kind of talk about that, that'd be great, sir.
So about a month ago, I was at my building in Las Vegas having dinner with some big people, business people that were, planning some big developments and things. And the waitress came over and said, how you doing? How you doing? And she said, oh, the government is after me all the time for my tax on tips. I said, really? They do that? He said, yeah, Biden just made the regulations much tougher. And it's very tough nowadays, tax on tips. And I said, how would you like to be no tax on tips? Because first of all, it's very hard, it's a very hard thing to control from the government standpoint. But the people are very unhappy about what's happening, especially the new regulations. And anyway, I just came up with the concept of no tax on tips. Let the people earn what they earn. And I'll tell you, it has been so popular, beyond anything. I've never seen anything like it. So we have no tax on tips. Vote for Trump, no tax on tips.
Hey, Mr. President, we have Ben Carson's here with us.
Hey, Mr. President.
We will take over the auto industry again and many, many hundreds of thousands of jobs. We lost so many jobs over the years. If you go back 20, 25 years, they've stolen, going to China and Mexico, about 68% of our auto industry manufacturing jobs. We're going to get them all back. We're going to get them all back, every one of them. At the center of our plan for economic relief are massive tax cuts for workers that include something else that's turned out to be very popular, actually. Here it's very popular, in this building and all those hotels that I saw that are so nice. I'm staying in a nice one. It's called no tax on tips. No tax on tips. No tax on tips. I got that by having dinner recently in Nevada, where we're leading by about 14 points. Hello. I'll see you there very soon, everybody. And we're having dinner at a beautiful restaurant in the Trump building on the Strip, and it's a great building, and the waitress comes over. How's everything going? A really nice person. How's everything? Oh, sir, it's so tough. The government's after me all the time on tips, tips, tips. I said, well, they give you cash. Would they be able to find him? She said, actually, and I didn't know this, she said, very little cash is given. It's all put right on the check. And they come in and they take so much of our money, it's just ridiculous. And they don't believe anything we say. And they've just hired, as you know, 88,000 agents to go after him even more. And I said, this shows the level of my, most people go out, they hire consultants, they pay them millions of dollars. But I said to her, let me just ask you a question. Would you be happy if you had no tax on tips? She said, what a great idea. I got my information from a very smart waitress. That's better than spending millions of dollars. And everybody loves it. Waitresses and caddies and drivers and everybody. It's a large group of people that are being really hurt badly. They make money, let them keep their money. And I will cut taxes even further than we did before, and that includes no tax on tips, right? No tax on tips. All the government does is harass everybody over it anyway. It's like a big harassment operation. They hired 88,000 IRS people to go harass everybody. So if you work in a restaurant, if you drive a cab, or if you do anything having to do with tips, I hope you're going to remember, bartenders, let's see, hospitality workers, a caddy, a barber. Barbers get tips. I don't give mine a big tip because I don't think they do a very good job. If you're a mover, a driver, or anyone else who relies on tips, the money is going to be 100% yours. You better go vote. If that doesn't get you out, if that doesn't get you off your ass to go out and vote for Trump, nothing will. Got to do it. Right? Got to do it. Yeah, I do. Go ahead. On what? Well, I'm going to announce that. I'm going to actually have a press conference on that at some point in the near future, so I don't want to tell you now. But Florida does have a vote coming up on that, and I think probably the vote will go in a little more liberal way than people thought. But I'll be announcing that at the appropriate time. Please. Yeah. Oh, we gave tremendous for child care and all of that. No, our tax cuts, which are the biggest in history, our tax cuts are coming due, as you know, very soon. And if the Democrats don't renew them or make it impossible to renew because it's pretty close in terms of vote, if they don't renew them, it's the equivalent of having a 4 times tax increase from what you have right now, and it'll destroy the economy. I think they're under tremendous pressure to do it. I've never seen, all my life I grow up and I watch politics, and I used to be on the other side of politics, then I run for office. But in all the years of studying politics, I've never seen people get elected by saying, we're going to give you a tax increase. These guys get up. Think of it. We're going to give you no security. We're going to give you a weak military. We're going to give you no walls, no borders, no anything. All these things they're doing. I mean, the transgender became such a big thing. But they do all of these things, but they always say, we're going to give you a tax increase. I never heard anybody campaign on a tax increase. A politician has always said, I will cut taxes. I'll give you one example, Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. I am going to leave Social Security. I'm not raising the years. I'm not raising the age. I will be saving Social Security, and I'm going to work it out that there's no tax on Social Security for seniors. I'm also doing no tax on tips. No tax on tips. So waiters, waitresses, caddies, people that drive cars, people that get tips who have been harassed by this government, we're going to have no tax on tips. That's a big thing.
So many incredible leaders, including my dear friends, Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, Senator Jackie Rosen, who we will re-elect to the United States Senate, Congress members Dina Titus, Stephen Horsford, and Susie Lee. And I know Culinary 226 is in the house. And I will tell you. And the Culinary Union, as everyone in Nevada knows, they have helped lead the way in our country for workers' rights and workers' dignity. And I have to say, for years, I've been so proud to work by your side. When I was Attorney General of California, we worked together to crack down on wage theft. When I was the United States Senator, we fought together for paid family leave and medical leave. And earlier this year, right here in Vegas, we celebrated your historic contract win. And it is my promise to everyone here, when I am president, we will continue our fight for working families of America. Including to raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.